You are listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. Hang on a second here. I figured out I forgot my coffee in the other room, so I went and retrieved it just in case I need some. So again, it's kind of the same concept, but a little more or less organized. Elon's trying to run them all through a kind of a qualification course, a hell camp. And of course, when there's a hostile takeover and when a business is cash strapped, they go through certain processes that are pretty much standard practice. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing in the world. However, generally the upper echelon is just going to be axed when it's a hostile takeover. And this is really a semi-hostile takeover, if not a hostile takeover. There was some agreement in sale, but of course that was because Elon had leveraged, and I guess they kind of made out in the end. And they all have kind of agreements, the upper echelon on what the exit payment would be, that kind of thing. So they're going to argue over that, and there might be an agreement or not an agreement. We'll see. However, Elon requires something. Good, bad, and different. I don't know what the other side of that payment or that requirement is. Is there a payment? Is there light at the end of the tunnel? In other words, you suffer for me now, and later, I'll make it right. Kind of like I don't think he's going to buy him a Rolls, but he might. I guess depending how much money they make. But kind of like the Saudi prince. / the butcher of Turkey. Well, you Saudis had a few years to make good on the help I gave you. You did nothing but ruin my life. Have fun in hell. However, same concept. You give somebody a Rolls Royce, the soccer team, a bunch of Rolls Royces as payment for their effort. So you would give these people that are in hell camp there in Twitter, in Elon's hell camp, they make it to the other side. They're qualified to work for Elon, and they actually make money and things work, and AppX is created, whatever it is. And then he gives them some compensation. Now, if you're with Trump, no, don't expect anything. He thinks you worship him and have been paid enough being allowed to worship him. So let's hope Elon's not like that. Now, if it doesn't work out, he probably won't be giving big compensation packages out because there's nothing to give. So if they can rescue Twitter, and if they can make it work better, and if they can create the X app and all the great things that he wants, incrementally they'll receive based upon that boost in profit or whatever it is. Again, crypto and social media are kind of bubblish. It doesn't mean they have to be. Again, social media, investing in certain things like advertisement and other things, and then crypto, same thing. They should have an advertisement angle if they get a name for themselves, and they should link with social media. So again, there should be this larger package. I think crypto doesn't stand well by itself. So again, it's kind of like you have to find your nation state. And Twitter might be one. There might be others. Again, Facebook could have a crypto link to it. Maybe they do. I don't follow it that much because it's all bubblish for now. Just like I wouldn't have bought a home unless I had to when it was high price like that. It's just crazy to expect those prices to stay up. All the Republicans are trying to shock everybody. Oh my God, the price of your home dropped. But the interest rate went up. So you bought your home before the interest rate went up. So you have to calculate your payment. You can't calculate the price of your home unless you're, that's it. Or a short-term purchase could harm you. If you want to cash out anytime soon, that'll harm you. Like you're retiring, want to go get an apartment or a condo, and you want some extra cash or whatever you want. However, the fact is, over a certain period of time, people that buy a house cheaper with the higher interest rate right now might actually pay more than you're going to pay to live in that house. So if you look at it as, excuse me, I just hit my mic thing here. Out of here, all of you. Whoa! So if you look at what you're going to pay if you're not cashing out your home, look at rent. First, look at it as rent. What's your mortgage payment? What's their mortgage payment? If it kind of equals out, then you didn't do too bad. Because that's how it works. When the interest rates drop, the prices go up. When the interest rates go up, the prices drop. So there's only a really small window where you can actually make the most money that you can. Because when the interest rates, I guess selling. Okay, so so before the interest rates go way up, when it starts dropping, then you would sell. Would that make sense? I guess it doesn't matter. You could sell high, and especially when everybody was buying. But as far as buying a home, it's when the interest rates are real low, or as low as they can be before the prices start going up. Because at a certain point, your payment becomes the same thing. So the trick is to have the smallest payment, especially if you're younger. That's really important when you're younger. Because you're going to get your investment. You don't want a high skyrocket price, but you want a price down. So it's kind of a bad time to buy either way. But when I purchased, the interest rates weren't rock bottom, but they were probably, within 0.25% of rock bottom where they were back then. And then I got a really low price on the house. So that was great. But again, everybody hated on me. I bought that house myself. Like you go in the Marshal Service, I never realized this. They're supposed to be upping you. So all these things start happening for you well in life. Like I looked at all these people, and the deep state may have been orchestrating their up. They definitely destroyed my life. And they did illegal things that nobody's allowed to do. However, you would watch these guys that I worked with, and they had these like amazing wives they would find, It's like, oh my God, how'd they do that? Now I know. The CIA made it, you're the only guy for that gal because you're going to do what we want the rest of your career. We asked you to kill Larry, you'll kill Larry. We asked you to kill Jonathan Luna, you'll kill Jonathan Luna. We asked you to disappear Bob Levinson, you'll disappear Bob Levinson. Here's a wife. Here's a house. So I really struggled. We were discriminated against a little bit. I didn't realize discrimination. I was in the Army. So I had no idea what the world was, really. I mean, yeah, I was probably discriminated against. They probably hated my wife for being an Asian, but, I didn't think about it. I didn't have a perception of it. I worked a lot when I came out of that, so I didn't understand. And everybody you work with in the Justice Department, they can't be that way. Or, they were, but if they step over a line, they know things can go wrong. So I didn't know about all that stuff. So when after it was all said and done, and I moved on, I started looking at statistics and some of the information about the places I lived, and they were like still having KKK rallies. Still having KKK rallies when we moved in. And Maryland, everybody knows, that area that I moved into, and even a little bit further is KKK territory. So again, having an Asian wife is just as bad for them. And I didn't realize any of it. I mean, you're in the Army, I mean, I believed, and even growing up, I mean, I saw discrimination, but I didn't believe it was secret society or that stuff existed. It was just so weird for me when I moved out of Philadelphia, and went to like a white community where there was a Hispanic community near us, a very large one, bilingual classes in our schools. It was it had been Navy housing, and they turned it ended up being like a semi-ghetto. So not too big, but big enough. And so we did have some people, but they were mostly in the it's like they almost automatically went into the bilingual classes. So again, that was probably a form of discrimination and segregation, and I didn't know about it. When I was growing up, and it wasn't that long ago, I mean, not supposedly people were free in the 70s and 80s, right, early 80s. We had a bilingual class. And, I thought those people didn't speak English, but I'm sure they did. I mean, I never met they were probably mostly Puerto Rican. I never met a Puerto Rican that didn't speak English too much. I mean, I had a guy in the military, one Puerto Rican guy. He spoke well enough, but it was funny. He's like my stepfather. They mess up a word here or there. And but he was a good guy, kind of, for being a guy that was uptight. And so we had a bilingual class there, right? I just figured that out right now. With God's help, I'm sure. That was discrimination. They didn't get to be in the regular classes with the white people, and we have very few black people. And at a certain point, I met a couple of black people. I don't remember. He was in one of my classes. I think we ended up breaking down into a group or something for study, and he ended up in my group. And he had a little brother. And there were people I knew that were racist, that said racist things about him. I didn't necessarily take it as racist back then, but I could see how it was and probably was intended. But it was so strange because, it must have been a deep state, a secret society, because we hung out for about a week on and off, maybe 2 weeks, and then he was gone. So I imagine they got operated and that was it. Or maybe they figured out that these other people were racist. And it was Navy housing. They actually lived in real Navy housing, not the ghetto. I think it was Johnsville. His father was a naval person at Johnsville. Naval Air Station or Research Development Station, or Willow Grove, but I think it was Johnsville, no one Willow Grove. It was Johnsville. And that was very sad for me, that this guy just disappeared. It's just weird. And again, now I have my answer. It probably was a deep state thing. And they probably harassed the parents till the kid didn't hang out with me anymore. Because I was white and he was black. That simple. That racist. Probably still occurs around there. I bet you it does. So Elon's hell camp. We'll get back to that. Don't be racist in your hell camp, Elon. I don't think Elon should run it. Again, Elon knows what he's doing to a certain degree, and he knows what he wants, but it doesn't give investor confidence. I mean, we're not back at Tesla and where you're almost the only game in town, and the government's dumping money into your business. So you have a little bit more you have to worry about. And your idea is, okay, I'm just going to be a capitalist and people will pay. To a certain degree, you have to be very careful when you're asking people to pay, because what you're doing is you are coming out in support of the Republican Party. You're coming out in support of the Republican Party. You really are. And Republicans will say, well, they did that for the Democratic Party. Da da da. Well, again, that's the worst thing you can do in the world, is complain about somebody else doing something and then saying you're doing it because they did it, and then you're right. So again, it is what it is. So really, he should find some professionals that run those hell camps. Maybe import a couple Japanese people that are bilingual or multilingual, and start running some hell camps. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be careful you don't push somebody over the edge and you end up suing you. So again, that would probably be that's preferential over getting rid of people. Seeing if they'll go to this hell camp or whatever you want to call it, business camp, and work some things out in their life and figure out, what that greater work ethic is that you're looking for. Because I understand a great work ethic. People I work for didn't. They laughed about it. And to a certain degree, they were right. I never got compensated for it in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even get protected for it. So when I went and bought my house, I had to use my own self to get it. I mean, God got it for me, but it was my own self. There's a lot that they do to execute an employee before they execute an employee, believe you me. And they go, well, it's been so long. No, it's not. They just did it yesterday. And they were doing some things while they were watching me. I could feel it. So here, I'll give you this one too. This is something real quick. So I was going to order some trailer locks and stuff online. And then the thing actually got through and said, look, if you order that online, they'll have the key to it before it gets delivered to you. Trump's not the only billionaire in it, and there's plenty of multimillionaires and plenty of government people that want them millions, including the people that work at the factory where they create that. So it said, at this stage of the investigation, do not do that because we can't assure the security of that key. So I canceled the order. There's no use in spending all that money trying to secure your world with something from a devil that's going to give up the key anyway. So Elon would do well to try to move people along within his organization to bring them to that work ethic that he's looking for. Again, that's the best way to articulate it because that's what you're looking for. Now, that type of kamikaze employee is rare, but you may be able to bring some others along that don't know that they have that within them. And it may not be required in the near future. But again, I wouldn't do it the way you're doing it because you're going to run into legal fights that may end up costing money. Again, the idea is you have a lot of money, but your hope is not to lose a lot of money. So again, you may say you won the battle, you won the war, but when you get to the other side of it, you lost a lot of money. Like, I didn't want to spend a lot of money for a vehicle. I was worried because my income wasn't that much, and I was hoping that the VA would increase, which I should actually have 100% VA disability. But in this crazy world, there's no way to do it. To hell with them. God will deal with it. I tried twice. Actually, 3 times. Actually, the first time I went off and got a job with the government. I was already disabled when I went in the government. From day one. So I was a disabled veteran. So we look forward to a better life, and everybody has a right to that. The government doesn't believe that anymore. The churches don't believe that. The community members don't believe it. The corporate leaders don't believe it. So hell will continue to grow. Plagues and curses will increase. So I was kind of hesitant to spend money, and it ended up costing me more money. But again, I didn't have the foresight I needed because they were blocking it. I should have just spent $25,000 for a vehicle right from the beginning, and my whole life would have been different, and I probably would have been well, and I wouldn't have been injured at the level that I was injured. I was trying to find something, maybe 15 to 20, closer to 15. And in the end, I ended up spending $20,000 because I got a $5,000 warranty with my van. That's another place to look. Look in the dealerships. I got waived off of going to the dealership here. I didn't get waived off of going to the dealership in Amarillo back when. I did send my vehicle in. They said they're on the payroll in Oklahoma. So that means they can even get a key. I mean, it'd probably be very tricky, but they probably could. But anyway, they stole my key and made it that way. Through cleaning ladies, I imagine, or somebody that works in the front office. So when I left Texas, they gave me my key that they stole back, all my keys, and the guy at the office says, "Oh, somebody said they found it in a bush." Now they were gone for 2 years, or not 2 years, 2 months or so. So there's no way they were clean like that. It had rained and everything else. So the only way really to succeed for Elon is to increase investor confidence. Now, there's people that might give Elon and Twitter money if they politically move in a certain direction. But again, I don't know if that's the best way to go. It's funny because Trump would normally give Elon money and be back over there, but he started his. Here's the thing: I told him to start the social media and the news organizations and all that. It came from me, believe you me. So I was on social media. They saw my stuff. I mean, I sent it to like 50 politicians, 50 other people just about. And then they did it and they killed me still. I mean, they're crazy. But guess what? What is it now? It's a curse on Trump, isn't it? It's an obsession and a curse. Because you killed Zerubbabel, or at least tried to. If you don't know who Zerubbabel is, they needed Zerubbabel to build the temple. And God said, use Zerubbabel or forget it. I imagine God said, use Larry, and you laughed at the voice. Because you laugh at God all day long, and you laugh at Jesus all day long, but call yourselves Christians. But you all were spoken about in the Bible. You are the synagogue of Satan. Of course, Kanye would come along, and he would try to say he, has the answer about the synagogue of Satan. Of course, he doesn't. And I spoke long and hard on that before he came along to confuse it, which is what I usually do. I do witches, get it? Which is what I usually do. I know that isn't something sexual, FBI, Oklahoma Staties, Oklahoma City detective. Testing the audio. Test. Testing the audio. It actually doesn't mean anything. You're all fantasizing. I may have found a person to give my guitar to. I don't think I'm going to get around to it. When I did actually buy it, I didn't want to. My finger was hovering over the screen, and it actually ordered. I didn't touch the screen. And I tried to stop it, and I think they could have stopped it. They just wanted to sell it. And if I knew their real return policy, I never would have ordered it from them. Or even thought about it, because I really didn't. That shows you evil magic. It'd be nice not to have to take it forward here. And I have an old box, a floorboard, electric guitar floorboard that has all the modeling amps and stuff in it. It's pretty big, and I could get rid of that too, and I'm gonna have to bring that forward. So as far as Elon's hell camp, there's no reason to cause the instability that he's causing, because he's really looking for stability past where it's been. He's got a few people. I mean, it's funny because the guy offered just for a place to live. That's the kind of stuff I was doing when I didn't actually go forward with it because the deep state was always there, but that was the thing I was wondering if I could go somewhere just for like help a musician out just for like a hotel room, because I had my income and meals if that's something they were doing. I was looking to maybe hook up with spiritual musicians, but of course the government made sure that didn't happen. Because after all, they might actually be CIA employees. That may be why they're there and how they're there. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.